You know, as a rapper, you're supposed to have something in the tuck, man.
Who won't test him? Anybody stepped at the kid, then God bless him. When Andre hit the record, it's all pressure. I'll saute, simmer, then salt your whole sector. Your squad tender, soft as faux leather. So I'm serving up MCs and asking fresh pepper. I ain't gotta force what I drop like fall weather. And y'all just spamming our phones like call centers.
There was like making a fuss about two women basketball teams or some shit, like taunting each other, but I was like, nobody really cares, right? But it's like the news is like propping up people to care, but that's neither here nor there. This is a Run for Revolutionary Thought, RHV. I am sitting here with the talented, legendary MC Ox out of Southwest Florida. And yeah, man, this is the conversation realm. So basically I want to start off and ask you, like, how have you been doing recently?
Generally, so far so decent, man. Yeah, okay. I mean, usually it's just work and music.
Speaking of work and music, I've seen you live around the the scene a lot, and I want to commend you for your technicality when it comes to the craft, the respect that you have for the craft, and specifically, I want to know what this craft of hip hop and MCing means to you.
Man, just in general, shit, man. I mean, this is like everything for me. You know what I mean? I mean, are you willing to sit through some jibber jabber? Right now?
I'm willing to go as deep as you want to go. This is the conversation realm. We could make it 30 minutes, 50 minutes.
All right. Whatever. I mean, 2010, 2011 was around the time where, you know, my father, who is of Puerto Rican and Cuban descent, yeah, he's the one who raised myself and my other two brothers. And, you know, my life at that time was just school, home, like no hanging out, no parties, none of that in between.
Would you say like kind of like a strict sheltered lifestyle?
Very much so, you know what I mean? And like all praise is due to my dad, because like I appreciate him for, you know, guiding us in the right direction and not letting us fall. Like that was just a life, you know what I mean? Where it's just, okay, well I got to do something to preoccupy my time. I can't just like go to bed every night and when I say go to bed, I mean like, oh, cool, I just got home from school. All right, 6 p.m., good night. The next day, it's like, all right, time for another day. But, like, it gets old, man, you know? So, I like to believe it's a time where I started, like, garnering, like, a real love for, like, hip-hop and whatnot. Because my dad, he had these two to three, like, milk crates of, like, CDs and shit. And you know, like, he had everything from, like, man, you name it, from, like, 2010, like back, he had it all.
That's lit.
And this promo rap and whatnot that they were putting out, like between the stuff he actually like I know of all like the Tupacs and the Biggies and the Snoops and like that very like surface level, like, oh, so hip hop, but like everything in between, like between like again like the Lords of the Underground and the DOS FXs, you know, EPMDs.
So you're just like getting lost in the craft and like all this like great hip hop knowledge back then, just as a gateway, because all you had was like school and all you had was school and home. So that was like a great piece of like escapism for you to get lost in those records.
Absolutely, yeah.
Did you know that you want to be a rapper that young, or you were just like literally escaping?
It's funny that you mentioned that, man, because man, it had to been like. I'm pretty sure I was in like 7th, 8th, like borderline 7th, 8th grade is when like I was going through that same situation where I was playing all this great stuff my dad had, right. But then like I was just like, yo, surely there's something on the radio that's this good, you know what I mean? So you turn on like 105.5 and like they're playing like Lollipop by Lil Wayne. And I'm like, listen, man, like if you're in the club and shit, like by all means, like feel free to like turn up to that, enjoy that. But I was just like I was hearing like the one song out at that time that I was just like, and it probably was based off a little bit of bias because Busta was on it, that we all know now is Look At Me Now.
Look At Me Now? Okay.
Yeah, and I was just, but that was like the one thing that I was just like, oh, well, Busta's on it, so it's got to be like good, you know, and like no disrespect to like Lil Wayne or whatever, because he's earned his keep, but it's just like, at that time, you know, for someone like myself, everything else just like sounded the same. Right. And I was just like, bro, surely I could do better than this. You know what I mean?
Right. Wow.
And that was like, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, can we curse?
Yeah, we can curse. We don't give a fuck, man. This is RHV. This is Run for Revolutionary Thought. We do what the fuck we want, man.
Word up,
fuck
man.
it, dude. Yeah, hell yeah. Word up.
Yeah, so to be quite honest with you, man, I was like, fuck that, dog. Like, surely I can, like, I can do better than this, and fucking that's kind of what started that's what got the ball rolling. You know, and I was like taking notes from like everybody that I knew, and yeah, in a nutshell, that was like the point where I was just like, borderline 2009, 2020 was when I was just like, yeah, we're doing this.
Right,
you know
right.
I mean,
We're all in. We're lifers. This is it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Word up, man. Yeah, that's funny, man. I was just reading a quote about how they say like great people have two traits. I'm forgetting one of the other traits, but one of the traits is that they think that they're better than people, which is not like I'm not saying that as a negative like a comment or like attribute.
Oh no, not at all.
But it's like it's that feeling of knowing that you could do better that inspires great people to be great. And I've seen you live, and you're obviously you're a great MC, a great performer. You perform without the backing track. This is all breath control, and so you do great. Do you how was opening up for R.A. the Rugged Man? Did you do that yet? Or?
Oh man, that's it's funny.
My bad. Is that okay?
No, you're all good, man.
All right.
I appreciate you asking just in general. Yeah, that's April 13th. I believe it falls on a Thursday. That's gonna be this lovely month over in Tampa at the Brass Mug. Yeah, that's like that's definitely like a big step for myself in the right direction, because like yo man, like these are the guys like I've idolized for like eons at this fucking point, or at least that's what it feels like, because like yeah, again, among the artists like my dad had in that crate, like Onyx was definitely there. It didn't take until like my cousin moved in with us during like my high school years, where he was just like, check out this underground stuff, and it was like Jedi Mind Tricks and Army of the Pharaohs.
Bro, you're so deep in the craft. Like, I feel like you're deep in like all types of like crevices and cracks of like hip hop. Where like it's honest. It's awesome, because I consider myself like I've been studying this shit since 2008. We're around the same age, so it's like you'll say names that I'm aware of, but like names that I never really studied. Like I studied the surface level, Wu-Tangs and Nas's and stuff. So it's just awesome to like hear shit like that, and then you're opening up for R.A. the Rugged Man. That's gonna be dope. I'm sure of it.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, and just to for the sake of y'all watching and whatnot, and yeah. So what this show is like, this is the way I would equate it is, imagine if like in rock, if like it's Pink Floyd. There we go. Those are words. Like the anniversary of like Dark Side of the Moon type shit, you know what I mean? Where it's just like, yo, the gravity, like some people may not realize the gravity of this, but it's just like in hip hop, it's like this is an Onyx show, and I'm sure you've probably heard Slam.
Yeah. This is huge.
Yeah, Slam, that song off of their Back to Fuck Up album. Like this is the 30th anniversary of that album. You know what I mean?
You're performing there.
Yeah.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah, man, and it's just like, man, like not a lot of these opportunities come like, you know what I mean? Just like not within a snap of a finger, not by fucking like hoping and praying. It's just, I mean, that again, I'm not saying don't hope and pray, because like that definitely goes like it definitely goes far if you got like faith in someone or faith in yourself. But also it's just like, listen, man, you also gotta like put yourself out there and like hop on opportunities and things like that. You know what I mean? Because like all opportunity is luck meets preparedness. So it's just like if you find like if something falls into your lap and you don't hop on it, it's just like like dog.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I wanna switch gears here. Is your name MC Ox just as simple as you wanted people to play your music on the aux chord?
I ain't gonna lie, like nobody ever really asks, but if you want like the brief synopsis.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Please.
Yeah, man. Like to be honest with you, I went like before I settled on MC Auxiliary, like high school, of course. Like I went through like a litany of rap names, but also like in my head, not that it matters. Like astrologically, I'm a Cancer, which means I'm also an overthinker, and like I just didn't want to have any name somebody else already had. You know what I mean? So between that and like trying to like find something that like fits with like well, what do I do? Like how can I like separate myself from everyone else? It was just like, well, even at the time, like 2014, 2015, I knew auxiliary chords, they were on their way out. You know what I mean? Like given like the Bluetooth and everything was becoming more commonplace, and like, but also it's just like, it doesn't matter if you got Bluetooth in your car or not. Everybody's just like, yo, pass the aux, like let me play some shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And like also come to find out, I look up the dictionary definition of it, and it's also like in a general sense, the word means support, or like you know, to provide some support for something. For what? I don't know exactly. Like y'all can look that up.
Yeah.
But it was also just like, man, something that nobody else has, and also like, you know, because I could have just been AUX or aux, or, you know, again, it doesn't matter the way anyone pronounces it, you know, I don't expect anybody to say the full name, but like, you know, it's like, yo, what's up aux, or what's good AUX, like,
Right.
Doesn't really matter to me, but like, yeah, man, I definitely just wanted, like, you know, a name, like just a name that I can like bank on, where it's just like, once I come around to like copyrighting things and this, that, and the third, like it'll be set in stone, but also like MC beforehand, because it's just like dog, I've studied this, I study this shit, and like I follow like rules, you know, rules that are, you know what I mean, are no longer followed today. But like when you mentioned the like not rapping over backing tracks, it's like if I fuck up or not, like I definitely pride myself on the fact that I don't use I call that shit karaoke, where it's like imagine karaoke night, but like you go out and you're singing to a song that nobody else knows but you,
right.
but you barely know the song.
Right.
It's like what kind of performance is that? You know what I mean?
I absolutely agree with you. Back home down on the east side, me and my boys, we got this thing of creating performance mixes, because back in 2018 when I was doing a lot of performances out there, you know, out in the east, a lot of guys, a lot of us, we do the whole karaoke thing. But I grown as an artist into like understanding that do the performance mixes, cut out those verses, and maybe bring ad-libs in on the track, but actually provide value to the performance, not just you screaming over your own track. You know,
you know,
we don't want to hear you competing with your track. We want to hear you. We want to hear like MC Ox performing, rapping to the beat type shit. So that's funny, and I've listened to your music where you actually, there's a lot of shots thrown at the karaoke rappers. So if you're a karaoke rapper, be hurt. You know what I mean? Be better.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, be better, man.
I want to switch subjects to something a little bit more maybe entertaining. I know you're into like pro wrestling a lot.
Oh yeah, very much so. Very much so.
Man. Do you find that as a base of inspiration?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like they're in like so far, you like. To this day, like there were only two things I ever wanted to be, and like first I would say you know, from like 2006-07 onward, just going to visit my cousin in Miami, he was just like, yo, y'all play video games? And it's like, of course we do. And he had like SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, which again, phenomenal games.
On the GameCube or PS2?
PS2. Yeah. But still to this day, I was just like, and I was just mesmerized by the video game. I'm like, you're telling me people do this for a living?
Yeah.
And then that's what, like, and it's always, like, been around me, like, here and there, but it wasn't until, like, that day that I was just like, oh, shit, fucking pro wrestling, dog. Like, this is it, man. And like, I just so happened to get into it during that time where, like, the Chris Benoit thing happened.
Oh, so you didn't get into it before then?
Sadly not, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like just after like that tragedy took place,
Yeah.
and like there were like new rules being like they dropped the rating from PG-14 back to PG.
Yeah.
The blood was like a
it was
no-go.
it was like black and white every time somebody bled or something. Now it's just I remember that transition. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, man. But like still that was definitely like, you know, that was the first thing I wanted to do, was like, oh, I'm gonna be a pro wrestler. You know, I was all for that. But then like fast forward like several years, 2010, 2011 type shit. That, and like I got on hip hop, and I was just like, well, this kind of seems a little more feasible. You know what I mean? Because like I ain't exactly the most athletic dude by any means.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But I was also like, yeah, I could. You know what I mean? It just seemed like something I would have a little bit more of like a threshold of doing.
Well, I think it's funny that you like pro wrestling. Do you still watch pro wrestling?
Absolutely.
Underground ones and mainstream ones.
Yeah, like definitely
promotions.
Definitely not as much as I did like as a kid, where it's like it's on Monday and you flip the channel.
Right.
You know, it's like, because we all work, we all got jobs or careers, and like, but still, like, I keep up with, like, you know, whatever WWE's doing, like,
Mhm.
via, like, Instagram and shit, and like, you know, like I'm always just looking out for something, you know.
Right. And not to cut you off, but I just want to make a point about the creative, because I'm a huge fan of just like the whole art form of like what pro wrestling is able to do. So it's like bringing sports and theatrics into the same realm to create like entertainment, which is kind of like, you know, there's a craft of hip hop. You got to be physically in shape to perform a 20-minute set.
Exactly.
Also,
I
when you're
agree.
providing entertainment to like onlookers, you got to kind of play it up. You got to be a showmanship. So you can be gimmicky if you want. You know, me, I choose to dress fly or some shit like that. There's like so many different angles, and that's why I respect, you know, the different promotions within wrestling, because I feel like I understand the craft as an entertainment. You know, it's deeper than just people seeing it as like fake or whatever. There's like,
Oh yeah,
there's
absolutely.
characters, there's storylines, there's like it's incredible. It's incredible, man. Do you have a favorite era?
Yeah, I mean, man, it's either between.
You said you like Undertaker throwing Mick Foley off the cage in '93. You said that in a line.
Yeah, the 1998 King of the Ring.
Yeah,
That was man, you did do your homework, dog.
Yeah,
'cause,
yeah,
like
for
that's
sure.
that's definitely what that track was based around.
Yeah.
Was that kind of like, man, dude, like I would say it'd probably have to be the shit that I didn't live through, you know, which
Okay.
was like from like the 2006 back, like it was the two very defining eras were the Attitude Era, which was like 96 to 2001, and then there was the Ruthless Aggression, where like or people would call it like John Cena's come up,
Oh,
where it was like 2001 to 2007, and it was like, you know, people, it was still like a bit raunchy. There was definitely
Yeah. I mean, John Cena was hitting people with like the chain knuckle.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
The chain link. So yeah, it was still a bit raunchy back then.
yeah, and he definitely like leaned into his like rapper gimmick like
Yeah.
a decent bit. You know what I mean?
He was a little gangster.
Absolutely, absolutely, dog. Yeah, man. But it's just like, you know, man, that shit put asses in seats, and it's like, you know, and like not even that, like just like match quality and whatnot, like, cause like the storytelling is like the first part of it, but it's like you got to be able to go in ring, you know what I mean? And it's also like the reason I draw so many like parallels between like pro wrestling and like hip hop is because, yeah, there's so many different eras, but it's like, yo, dog, like just look back at some of the highlights of like the past like decade, if not 2 decades, you know, because like, you know that thing where people, especially like our age, you'll be like, oh, 30 years ago, that's like the 70s. Like, nope, that's the 90s. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
That shit, like, it throws you off for a second, but it's also like, I don't know, like you juxtapose, like whether it's pro wrestling or like rap music, at least on a mainstream point of view, like the most easily accessible for everybody else. It's like, yeah, you could see some things that could be worked on. Or you could be, you know, you can more so like look at things that are just like, hey, maybe we should like be taking some notes or something, because it seemed like they had something that like something is obviously lacking today.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I know that's a whole conversation in of itself.
Yeah. No, that was an excellent point. I first and foremost, thank you for coming here. I think we've had an excellent conversation. So many like so much game and insight from a real life living artist, MC. And like I said, I want to thank you again for being here. Is there anything that you would like to tell your supporters or just random onlookers on the RHV co-platform?
So yeah, I will be opening for Ari the Rugged Man and Onyx for Onyx's 30th anniversary of Back the Fuck Up. That's gonna be their first album, by the way, 1993. It's gonna be in Tampa, April 13th at the Brass Mug. That's where I'm going to be rocking with the Legends, live and in living color. I do have a joint out. It's been out for a month, but I got a couple other things that are going to be coming out in the next couple of months. I got more or less a remix I'll be dropping this month. I ain't going to say no names or say nothing yet, because like I like to keep people on their toes. And then an OG song, like my own material, that's going to be following I believe in May, maybe a month after that, we'll see how things like pan out. Also, man, I want to thank you for having me here,
Yeah, no,
and
it's a
because
pleasure.
I said this is like my first time going about this kind of situation, so
Yeah.
I appreciate that. It was a very humble, very knowledgeable. Like you were very inquisitive, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, thank you.
And sincerely, thank you for having me, dog.
Hey, for sure, appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Hell yeah, man.
All right, fam, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. Bang, 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 bang.